Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a chatty sort of sit down video to go over the results of my video that I filmed at the beginning of 2022 when I said these are the books that I want to read in 2022. It was called 22 books I want to read in 2022. I promise I'll try to stop saying it, but I wanted to go over the results with you before I shared my 2023 TBR with you and just kind of go over like how I did and things like that. So I have a couple of little lists that I'll be popping in to go over the books with you. The first list we're going to go over is the books that I attempted and the books that I just didn't even pick up. So how did I do there? So I attempted The Girl Who Drank the Moon, Good Girl Bad Blood, As Good as Dead, The Final Revival of Opal and Nev, Monday's Not Coming, Baby Teeth, The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, The Editor, My Best Friend's Exorcism, A Flicker in the Dark, The Arrangement, Always Watching, Dial A for Aunties, and Spare Room. So I did pick up and attempt 14 of the 22 books, and the ones that I just didn't even bother to pick up include Loveless, Ralph's Party, Under the Whispering Door, Kilman Creek, Loving Mr. Daniels, The Novel Art of Murder, The Royals, and The Switch. So that is the remaining 8 books that I did not even attempt to pick up last year. Moving on to what I actually completed, books I DNF'd, and then of course again the 8 remaining that I did not pick up. So of the 14 books that I attempted, I ended up reading a total of 10 of them, and I DNF'd 4 of them. So you could see all of the titles here, but the ones that I end up DNFing were The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which is a middle grade novel. I did an try a chapter tag with this. Like, I read the first chapter and decided that the writing was not for me and put it down. And then also I've had some friends come to me and say, that could be one that you could let go and you're not really missing out on. The Final Revival of Opal and Nev, I gave a good shot. This was one of my most anticipated books of the year in 2021. I never got around to it, so I put it on my list for 2022, picked it up, gave it a go, and just nothing was happening. It was more about the characters, and it was very slow moving and very boring for me as a reader, so I decided to DNF that one. And then The Editor, which is a novel by Stephen Rowley, which his writing is just not for me. He has this like humorous undertone, and I really don't like that sort of humor, so I knew that that was just going to be prevalent in the novel, so I decided to go ahead and DNF that one. And then Dial A for Aunties, that is a cozy mystery that I just really didn't find humorous when everybody was telling me it was so funny. So those are kind of the books, the ones I read, the ones I DNF'd, and the ones that I just didn't even pick up. Now, of those 22 books, I was looking at my shelves and I was wondering which ones I kept on my shelves and which ones I unhauled. So it was an even split. I have 11 on my shelves currently, either on my TBR shelf, on my red shelf, and then unhauled, I probably took it to the book exchange or sold it on Pango. So I kept on my shelf Baby Teeth, Ralph's Party, My Best Friend's Exorcism, A Flicker in the Dark, The Arrangement, Kilman Creek, Always Watching, Loving Mr. Daniels, The Novel Art of Murder, The Royals Next Door, and The Switch. And then I unhauled the rest, like I said, most likely at the book exchange or Pango. And that means that I still have 6 books sitting on my TBR shelf that were on my 22 books to read in 2022, but I just never got around to reading them. So the ones that I still have sitting on my TBR are Ralph's Party by Lisa Jewell. This is Lisa Jewell's debut novel, and it seems like it's going to be very different from like what we've come to know and love and you know, think about when thinking of the author Lisa Jewell, but I really do want to get to it because I want to know where she started. And I really did go through a lot of trouble actually obtaining this copy with this cover, so it's still sitting on my TBR and I need to make it a priority moving into this new year. Next up, I want to continue in the Stillhouse Lake series, and the next book is Kilman Creek by Rachel Caine. This is the second book, and yeah, never got around to it. I also have the third book on my TBR, but I can't get to the third until I get to the second. The first book follows a woman named Gwen as she is running away from her husband, who is a serial killer. He's behind bars now. She has her 2 children with her, and someone is trying to target them and out them, and she's like on the run and trying to hide out. So I need to make it a priority this year. And then Loving Mr. Daniels by Brittany C. Cherry. I have only read one other Brittany C. Cherry book, and I have this one and one other one on my TBR, so I really need to get to these. The reason why these always end up taking a backseat, even though they are emotional romance stories or have different kind of, like this one is a teacher relationship, I believe. They always have like these like very like taboo emotional storylines, is because there aren't audiobooks available, and I always gravitate towards books that I have audiobooks for, but I'm going to try my best to get to it this year. The novel Art of Murder by V.M. Burns, still sitting on my TBR shelf, which is a complete shame because I absolutely adore this cozy mystery series. This is the third book in the series, and you have poodles, you have a bookshop, you have murder, what's not to love. There are several books out in this series, and I need to go ahead and finish this one so I can continue on in the series. And then I have The Royals Next Door. I remember exactly where I was when I purchased this book. I got it at a mobile bookshop when I went to this wine festival with some friends, and it's just been sitting on my shelf. Like, I need to make this priority because I've heard really cute things. It's about like a woman that an ordinary summer royalty array when a prince and a princess move next door, bringing their handsome bodyguard with them. So it seems like it would be a really fun like spring or summer read, and I'm hoping to make that happen in 2023. And then last but not least, the last book that I still have sitting on my TBR from last year is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. And this is another problem that I have because I have another book on my TBR by Beth O'Leary, and then there is a book that published last year, and she probably has a book coming out this year, so I really need to catch up on her work. I've pretty much enjoyed everything I've read by her. I think this will be the third book that I read by her, and it's about like an older lady and this young girl. I don't know if they're related. So Eileen, who is newly single and about to turn 80, would like a second chance at love. And then we have Eileen's 20-something overachieving granddaughter, Lena, who was ordered to take a 2-month sabbatical after blowing a big presentation at work. And I think they like swap places, and then maybe they find love. But yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be really cute. So yeah, again, I need to make it a priority. So these are the 6 books that are still on my TBR from last year, and I'm gonna do the smart thing and roll them over to this year. So you're gonna go ahead and get a sneak peek of some of the books that I plan to put on my list for 2023. This is the first 6 books, and if I do not read these books this year, I will be unhauling them. So I really want to get to all of them, especially because some of them are like authors that I have multiple books read by, or continuations in series and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to these 6, but you will have to tune in to another video coming soon to find out the other books that I have planned for this year. But I do want to say, going into making that video, my loose plan was 24 books. There's 12 months in a year. If I read 2 books a month, I should be good. And you know what? I started the year that way. I really did a good job of knocking off these books, but as more and more new releases came into the fold, the more books that I borrowed from the library, the further away these books came like off the forefront of my mind. So I didn't really have a solid plan, and I didn't have a solid way to tackle these books on that list. But moving into 2023, I definitely have a plan in place that I'm hoping that I will be able to knock out all 23 books this year. So you'll have to tune into that video to find out how I plan to do that. But these are the results of the video that I made last year, and then I'm sure next year this time we'll be sitting down again seeing how I did. So that's all for today's video. Let me know how you track your reading goals, like if you actually track them, if you check in periodically throughout the year, or if you just check in like the very next year when it's time to make new goals and resolutions. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye friends.